everyone. I'm Dr. Marianne Mercer. Welcome to my Positive Life Answers podcast. I'm your podcast host and self-improvement expert, Dr. Marianne Mercer, and you can call me Dr. Mary. In my Positive Life Answers podcast, my goal is to help you transform the quality of your life and help you create the life you desire. The goal of my podcast is to help you make improvements and changes in your life in practical ways. So let's create your best life ever. Thanks for your email messages and questions. This is what this podcast space is all about, which is helping you. If you are new and just discovered my podcast, a big welcome to you. I am Dr. Marianne Mercer, and you can call me Dr. Mary. Welcome to my new episode. I call it Turning on Your Vision for Your Life. In the last few episodes, we touched on the concept of setting your intentions for your life. And what that means, if you're new to my podcast or haven't heard the last couple episodes, is just getting clear about what you want to focus in on your life this new year. And also anytime you're reevaluating or making new goals for your life. We talked about intention, which is heartfelt questions. And heartfelt questions are the why behind your goals. If you don't get in touch with your intentions and the why behind your goals, you will be off radar with any goals that you set for yourself. The why behind your goals are the most important motivator that you'll ever find. Remember, finding your clear intention is always the first step before you start developing your goals in your life or making a change or a tweak in your habits. Intention sets the tone and motivation to make improvements in your life and also the direction you wish to aim in your life. In our last couple episodes, we talked about turning on your heartfelt radar, in which you learned some initial heartfelt questions I developed that you have to reflect on before making a choice about your life and a choice about your goals. This was an initial way to turn on your heartfelt radar before setting goals. Give a listen to episode 38. Episode 39, we explored fine-tuning that heartfelt radar. You discovered the Victoria story and lessons learned from the Victoria story, and plus some easy follow-up exercises to build on your initial heartfelt questions. What we did was fine-tune your heartfelt radar. So today, even if you have not listened to those last two episodes, you will still benefit from what I'm going to talk about with you today. I call this episode, Turning on Your Vision for Your Life. Discovering your vision for your life. We're going to talk about creating your vision for your life as part of some ways to turn on that radar, your intention, and your heartfelt intentions to help you focus on your life. So important. We need to do this before making goals. So we'll talk about how to discover your inspiring vision for your life, a creative and really easy method I'll walk you through to discover your vision and making your vision statement. So let's get started. I can barely wait to help you with this process. Actions to take in creating your vision for your life. Actions that you can take. These are really easy, but do require some focus. So if you can focus your attention and listen to some of the steps I'm going to tell you about creating your vision for your life. Let's begin to explore today's topic. Discover your inspiring vision for your life. In discovering your inspiring vision for your life, it's important to know that people who are happy and optimistic do what they really love doing. This fills their lives with enthusiasm. They discover their inspiring vision and motivates them to enjoy life and feel fulfilled. On the other hand, think of some people you know that are kind of down in the dumps, negative or pessimistic. They don't know exactly what they want to do with themselves, and they seem like lost souls. Their happiness often can result from them not possessing a good reason to get out of bed in the morning and greet the day. A key step in your march to optimism lifestyle is to discover what purpose motivates you, turns you up, and turns you on every day. And this goes way beyond the concept of goal setting. Don't even think about goal setting until you know what your heartfelt vision is. And this requires digging deep into your heart to find out what fuels your fire for life. So I really want you to listen today. So we find that well-meaning people who write their goals before they find out what their exciting vision is for their lives is often wasted energy because it's a mistake. It may lead them and you down the wrong direction in life. So this is why I'm doing this, and the whys of why I'm doing this, helping you figure what your vision, your purpose is for your life. I find in my intensive coaching sessions that people who learn to be happy and optimistic create a vision before they establish their goals. So listen to me. They create a vision before they establish their goals, and that's the key. As my co-author and I, Dr. Mike, wrote in our book, Spontaneous Optimism, without a vision, goals are useless and misdirected. because they are not a true reflection of your worthy purpose. And if you know what you're aiming at, it greatly improves your odds of hitting your target. So we created this 8-step method to discover your inspiring vision, to help you find out exactly what you want to aim at in your life, your vision. I'm going to help you use this 8-step method to discover your inspiring vision for your life. And this is what I want to teach you today, to help you find exactly what you most want to aim for in your life, your vision. My co-author and I developed and perfected an enjoyable and easy 8-step procedure and step that I will lead you through today in this podcast. Please complete each step with me today. And at the end of this podcast, you'll have a clear, exciting, and practical vision statement for your life. Each step includes 2 ways to complete it: a written method or picturing and visualizing it. When you write things down, you lose your left brain logical focus. And when you picture or visualize answers to questions, you're using your right brain intuitive and feeling focus sources of your answers. So you can use whatever way you enjoy most using, or use both of them. Your outcome will be the same. You'll arrive at a clearly stated vision to help you live a healthy, prosperous, and happy life. For each step, I will share with you my answers and process with you. This will give you a greater understanding of how to do each step in a useful way. So for each step, I'm going to just give you my personal example of how I developed my vision statement. So those clear examples will help you really understand this clearly. When I was considering my career change many years ago, I used this 8-step process that my co-author and I, Dr. Mike, created. And with many testing with myself and many other people, it really became crystallized in terms of how it can help you move from step to step. It gave me direction and insight into why I desired a change in my career from a traditional private practice to an intensive coach, a system that my co-author and I developed and patented, to a speaker, a book author, and self-improvement commentator on many shows, including TV and radios, where it led me to. Now let's take the first steps in this process. So if you're walking, exercising, putzing around the house and cleaning, or driving, you can listen and think about your responses. And that'll be a great start, because you'll be way ahead of everyone else who doesn't even bother to think about these questions or don't even know because no one ever told them. When you're able to, later, write down your responses by listening to the episode again. And don't tell me you don't have time. People often say they're time bankrupt, but when I look at their schedules and help them tweak it, they could easily find a half hour, 20 minutes, sometime in the day, in the beginning of the day or the end of the day. You will find it. So step 1, we call step 1 your positive traits. And what we mean here is make a list of your positive traits. Your first step on your journey to pinpoint your vision for your life is to make a list of your positive traits. You can do this on a piece of paper, note cards, or you can type it into your tablet or cell phone. Importantly, only list your fabulous, wonderful traits. Here's a list, an example of some positive trait suggestions for you. It's kind of a general list, but you can choose from this list, or this can turn the wheels and you can add some other words, but I'm just going to give you some examples. It's not a complete list, but it'll give you a little stimulation to think about what a positive trait can be. So feel free to use some of these and come up with your own. They can include the following: being adventurous, brave, caring, giving, helpful, kind, organized, persistent, supportive, trustworthy. And there could be a lot more, and there are a lot more positive traits. But let that kind of start stirring up your thoughts and see which ones you can identify with. So think about right now what your positive traits are. Make a mental note, and then when you can, write them down and make a list. Now that's kind of using your left side of our brain. If you want to use your right side, if you're able to, picture or imagine a moment or situation where you felt really good about yourself, really magnificent about yourself. What were your positive traits at that time? If you're in a place where you can just sit down, relax, and close your eyes, just take a breath, relax, close your eyes, and picture or imagine a moment, a situation where you felt magnificent about yourself. What were your positive traits at that time? Take time to fully appreciate your traits, your positive traits at that time. And when you're ready, just take a piece of paper and jot them down. Jot down your positive traits. So I'm going to give you my personal example and share that with you. For example, when I completed this step, I listed the following as my positive traits, using both methods of just thinking and then imagining or picturing. And I came up with the following traits. I'm adventurous, caring, courageous, creative, giving, loving, persistent, playful, supportive, and I show grace to others. That was my list. So make sure before we go to step 2, you can pause the podcast, write them down, think about it, and then restart. Just unpress the pause button and we'll be ready for step 2. So step 2, I want you to look at activities you like to do. Now bear with me. These are all going to come together as we go along these steps. So step 2, make a list of activities you enjoy doing. Only include activities that get you excited, that light your fire. These activities are activities that you should feel really excited about and cherish performing. You can list even activities you've done only a few times but really liked it and would like to do it again. So I'm going to give you some examples, and again, this is just a teaser, partial list of activities, and you can use them to spark your imagination and your thinking about the most delightful activities you engage in. So here's some activities people enjoy: administrating, creating, helping people, influencing, inventing, organizing, persuading, teaching, working with people. So let that start the wheels turning in your thoughts right now. Make a mental note of it or write it down. And if you can right now, picture and imagine an activity you really enjoyed doing. And if you can, and you're in a place where you can sit down and relax, take a moment and close your eyes or just visualize and imagine an activity you really enjoyed doing. Give yourself time to savor your actions and write this down. And repeat that for a few times and for a few different activities that you think you really imagined enjoying. So picture, imagine activity you really enjoyed doing and write down what those activities were and make your list. And if you want to, just pause and write them down. For me, my example was when I completed this step, I listed the following activities I greatly enjoyed doing. For me, I enjoyed learning, teaching, working with people, exploring, giving, guiding, organizing, leading, and influencing. So that was my list. Let's see what list you come up with for this step. And when you're ready, we'll go to step 3. Step 3, what are your proudest accomplishments? List your achievements you feel proud of. This could be accomplishments in any and all areas of your life. For example, you might be proud of accomplishments like buying a house, developing a great relationship, learning a new skill, raising healthy children, developing a great relationship. These are just some teasers to get the wheels turning. So think about, what's your proudest accomplishments? Jot those down or make a note of it. Mental note or written note. To use the other side of your brain, which gets you to more of your heartfelt feelings, relax and visualize a moment where you felt incredibly proud of yourself. So visualize a moment you felt incredibly proud of yourself. Create a good picture of this moment, and re-experience your positive feelings and thoughts. And really enjoy this moment. Write down your incredible achievements you just visualized and repeat it a few times to see what else comes up for you. And let me give you an example, as I promised. When I completed this step, I listed the following proudest accomplishment. I felt it was really eye-opening, and it was like a really wow experience. Because in our busy lives, sometimes we just don't reflect on what we've already done. So this is what I came up with, and I'm not bragging, but I just want to give you an example and also give you an idea of who I am. So my following achievements, these are some examples. 1, I became a program director at a major psychiatric hospital. I co-authored my first 2 books. I was creating a wonderful love relationship with my partner. I earned my doctoral degree. I graduated from college. I grew a consulting business to the point I could sell it. And I paid off all my student loans. And I developed special relationships with my family and my friends. So take a moment to see what your accomplishments and achievements have been in your life. And pause and get that completed, and we'll move on to the next step. And we're really getting there. So hang in there and please keep listening. Step 4. This is a heart tugger. What do you want to be remembered for? Take a moment to reflect on the following question. What do you want to be remembered for in your life in terms of your outstanding traits and achievements? One list is composed of your life's exceptional traits, and the second list tells of your important life achievements and accomplishments. These can be the qualities and achievements you already identified in the previous questions, or you can include new ones that you just thought of right now. And that's kind of left brain thinking, so let's tap into your emotions and in a relaxed state, take a breath and imagine you already passed from this world. And someone wrote a story about your outstanding things you did in your life. In your mind, you read this story. What does the story say about you? What does the story tell the world about your positive traits, your accomplishments in your life? Let that soak in, and when you're ready, write down your answers. And this is a really intense question for a lot of people, and it was for me as well. So when I completed this step, I listed the following traits and accomplishments that I was hoping to be remembered for. So my outstanding trait was caring. I'm a caring person. My accomplishment for that trait was becoming a doctor and helping people. I had a trait of being creative. My outstanding accomplishment, being creative, I co-authored best-selling self-improvement books that were also featured on Oprah and other national TV shows. Outstanding traits, giving. I helped many people vastly improve their lives. Outstanding trait, influential. Outstanding accomplishment for that trait was a well-known self-improvement expert. Another one was inspirational. My accomplishment for that trait was being a motivational speaker. And last but the best, a loving and caring trait. My accomplishments were loving relationships with my spouse, family, and friends. And that's all the things I wanted to be remembered for. So please take a moment and reflect. Take a pause, even if you have to come back to this tomorrow. Just pause and come up with the answers to that question. As we move on, step 5, and we're getting there, so hang in there. Step 5 in identifying your vision is tapping into people who you admire. People who you admire are actually reflective of traits that you have inside you that you may have not identified. So people have fun answering this question. Whom do you tremendously admire? For each person you admire, come up with 2 or 3. Specifically, what do you admire about this person in terms of their outstanding positive traits and their actions and accomplishments? Just like in the previous steps, you listed your positive qualities and accomplishments. Now you get to list the outstanding traits and achievements of people you hold in high esteem, people who you admire. And as you do that, take a moment to just create a mental picture of that fantastic individual and see what they're doing and what you admire them for. And as you watch this person in action, observe their positive traits and accomplishments and notice what that person is doing and how they're going about doing that, and write down where the positive traits and what were their achievements that you recognized in this example. My example is I admired a number of people and I wrote down my answers to this question. So I had a few, but let me give you the top 2. So person number 1, without saying who that was a famous actor and singer. And the positive traits I saw in them that they were influential. They were influential, inspirational, persistent, creative, and encouraged, hardworking, and unforgettable. And because of those traits, they were world famous. They had the best-selling albums. They were dynamic speakers and singers, and they were innovative in their writing. And they were very hardworking and often got what they wanted. And person number 2 is a famous artist, and their positive traits was that I identified in them was that they were flexible, inspirational, daring, talented, and innovative. And because of those positive traits, they were so creative and their work was so amazing. They were internationally recognized. They were a trendsetter. They were the best in their field. People admire them, and they were a teacher and a role model for others. So take a moment to complete this exercise, and we'll move on to the next step when you're ready. Step 6. This is where it all comes together. So listen to me, focus, even if you're just putzing around the house, driving, whatever. You can think while you're doing those activities. We're moving on to step 6, which is finding your patterns. Probably you're wondering, okay, Dr. Mary, that was a lot of work, and yes, it is. This is probably the hardest episode you'll hear in my entire series. But the question is, what do you do? What do you do with all these steps, all the answers to the 5 steps that we just went through? You probably have noticed it in my responses, in my examples. The answer is, now we're trying to find common threads, themes, or patterns that appear in your list. How do you do that? When I was reading my examples, you probably heard repeated words, repeated themes, because we're doing this in a verbal podcast. If you're writing this down on paper, which I hope you will do at some point, you take those 2 pieces of paper and you notice the common threads, themes, and patterns in your responses. Take another piece of paper. On one paper, you write positive traits. On a second sheet, or on the same one, if you just put a line down the middle, positive traits on one side, actions and achievements on another, and put that in front of you. And review your list that we just did. When you review your list, you'll see, as I demonstrated in my examples to you, there's repeated words, phrases, and ideas that popped up through all those steps. So write down the repeated words, phrases, and ideas from your list of positive traits that we talked about, and the other list of actions and activities you most enjoyed doing and most admired based on the steps that we talked about. Remember, just spotting commonalities and trends like repeated words. Write them down. And yes, please, this is a point where you do have to write them down, because now when you identify those, and I'll give you an example, so just bear with me and listen, please. It's decision time. You're going to take those 2 lists and circle your top 2 positive traits and top 2 favorite inspiring actions and achievement. These must be the positive traits and actions and achievements that you consider valuable and definitely most heartfelt in these exercises we did. So when I looked at my list, I found common threads and repeated words and patterns and ideas. Then I decided with my heart and soul which ones and which 2 were my first heartfelt desire. So on my positive traits, I came up with inspirational, influential, creative, and innovator. When I looked at those traits, you only could pick 2. I picked inspirational and influential. And those were repeated in not only my exercise about myself, but also the people I admired. For the actions and achievements, for inspirational, my response is I moved and touched people to take actions with their lives. And so did the people I admire. For influential, guiding people and helping them with their lives. And under that was making a big impact on people and helping people via speaking, teaching, or my media, TV, radio experiences as a mentor as well. I funneled down everything into inspirational, influential, teacher, mentor. Find your commonalities and just focus on those words. And this last step is going to be really, really important, because we're going to take those words and create the vision statement for your life. So step 7, your inspiring vision statement of your life. The purpose of your vision statement is to turn on your radar. Your vision statement pinpoints your most heartfelt aspirations. Using your vision statement, you definitely will spend your days taking action to move your life in the direction you most deeply desire. And that's for every category of your life: family, health, everything. Your vision statement will help you focus on what you consider is important, help you feel special and radiate specialness, helps you wake up each day with excitement about taking those actions to achieve your heartfelt dreams. And it helps you feel fantastic, alive, and in control of your life. And that's what being an optimistic person is really all about, and which is also, as you discovered in my last episode, is the basis and the barometer of how happy you can be in your life. My personal experiences and insights from coaching, using my intensive coaching sessions, clearly show that optimistic people feel in control of their lives, special, excited, and enthusiastic. And they spent their time focused on what they want to do most and not what they don't want. And your vision statement will help you in all areas of your life. So using that final list of your top 2 positive traits and 2 favorite activities, you will create your vision statement by using the following phrase. As I described in my example, I gave you my heart and soul and which ones I felt were the most heartfelt and valued positive traits and achievements. Those positive traits were influential, inspirational, teaching, mentoring. Bringing those words into a vision statement. Vision statement begins with I am an, and the first thing you list is your 2 positive traits, and then your 2 favorite activities or actions. So I am an, in parentheses, 2 positive traits, and again in parentheses, your favorite activities and actions. For example, my vision statement, and bringing those words that I repeated just to you, my statement became I am an inspirational and influential speaker and mentor. Using those words, I know I repeated those examples twice, but I wanted those words to get really familiar in your head and how I put them into my vision statement. So my vision statement reads, I am an inspirational and influential mentor, speaker and mentor. I use this method to discover my ultimate purpose in life and what makes me feel motivated. As a result of intensive coaching sessions with people I've helped discover theirs. Take a moment now and take those top 2 positive traits, top 2 favorite activities, and bring it into a vision statement saying, I am 2 positive traits, inspirational and influential. 2 favorite activities, speaker and mentor. Again, mine was I am an inspirational and influential speaker and mentor. Write this down. Write this statement down because this becomes your vision statement. Write it down. The act of writing it down ingrains it into your heart and soul and your mind. You need to write it down. So if you're not able to at the moment, because of wherever you're at, once you settle down, write it down. It's a convenient way to stay focused on your vision. And the way to do that is to read your vision statement every day. Doing so reminds you, well, what you consider ultra important. So to do this, I recommend you make your vision card, write on an index card or a vision card on your cell phone and any kind of creative app that you'd like to do. But read it a few times a day to keep you on target toward a healthy, prosperous, and happy life. During our intensive coaching sessions that I conduct, as well as Dr. Mike, we always notice that when our clients create their vision statements, they react like someone who just discovered a treasure. And now you also have discovered the treasure. I remember a particular session, I worked with someone who discovered, after about 2-3 hours, they discovered their vision for the first time in their lives, an adult I was working with. And at that moment, that person instantly looked like the weight of the world was lifted off their face and their shoulders and their body. They just became 10 years younger looking. It's like they had a facelift. It was just an amazing vision that they discovered and how it lit them up. If I had a before and after picture, I would share that because it was just totally amazing. And I'm hoping that this will be something you'll find amazing for yourself. So my suggestion to you is that take the time to answer these questions and really listen to this. If you're out and about, you can start to think of them, and that's a great start. But I really, really, really want you to help yourself. So you can go all the way if you want to help yourself, or just start thinking. Even if you start thinking, it's going to help you. If you take the time, 30 minutes, when you can sit down and carve out some time to slow down and work on these ideas today, please do so as soon as you can. On today's podcast, I am asking you to work. And this is probably the most intensive podcast of my series, or any other series that you might be listening to, because other people talk about setting goals and getting your vision. Do they handhold you in step-by-step way to do it? No. Most people don't know how to do a vision. This is the best and creative way that we found over the years to help you get it done before you start doing your goals. So after this step, you're going to do goal setting the right way that I'll teach you. And that'll be easy compared to digging deep inside your soul like you did today for your heartfelt dreams and desires. This is not easy work. It's definitely worth it. So it'll make the next step and the rest of the time that we spend together go easier for you. So please give it a try. Do it now. Please. This is a lot to ask you, a lot of questions. So please email me any questions you have on today's exercises and podcasts at Dr. Mercer at positivelifeanswers.com. That's DRMERCER at positivelifeanswers with an S at the end of answers.com. positivelifeanswers.com. And go to positivelifeanswers.com and email me your questions using the contact form or the direct email I just gave you. Please take a look at our online store for supportive materials such as our book that's available in our online store called Bouncing Back from Difficult Times. That's my book that I wrote. And then Spontaneous Optimism, Proven Strategies for Health, Prosperity, and Happiness that Dr. Michael Mercer and I wrote. And you also can contact me about setting up sessions for intensive coaching that can help you. Next time we meet, we're going to be turning your vision into reality. And this will be fun because you have identified your heartfelt desires. And this, again, goes way beyond goal setting because of what you did here today. So I can't wait to hear how you did with this exercise and series of steps. So send me your emails. A note to my listeners, this podcast aims to provide useful information to my listeners. It's published with the understanding that your host, Dr. Mary Mercer, is not engaged in rendering professional services, counseling, or therapy through the contents of this podcast. If you need professional services are to be sought by the listener, such as counseling and psychotherapy. The listener is responsible for seeking them. So contact your local psychological association. They're very helpful in giving you a local referral. Or contact your medical doctor for a referral. It's easy as that. So please stay tuned for more. I can barely wait to take the next steps with you. Thank you for listening. Positively, Dr. Mary.